Hey everyone, welcome to the NextUI crash course. NextUI is a UI framework for React that is based on top of Tailwind CSS. An UI framework is simply combination of pre-styled reusable components and utilities. UI frameworks are really useful when you don't want to build everything from scratch or you want to build something really quick. I have several React UI framework crash courses on my channel. You can check them if you want. The link will be on the description. NextUI looks really beautiful. It's very fast and modern React UI library. The components are styled using Tailwind CSS, but you can customize those styles exactly the way you do in Tailwind CSS by adding class names. You can even apply your own theme. It has accessibility features out of the box. Adding dark mode is really easy. You just need to add a class name and that's it. The customization is really easy. I will show you how to do that. And last but not least, it supports React Server components, which means that all the components that are client component in NextUI has the use client directive, so you won't have any problem using them on your server component. It comes with multiple packages. I'll show you what that means. It also has TypeScript support, no runtime styles, beautifully designed, and so on. If you go to their documentation, and here you will see a lot of components. I'm not going to go over all of them. It will take me the entire day to do that. Instead, I'm going to show you a few key components and I will explain some key concepts that will be really helpful for you to use the other components. Plus, I'm not going to build any kind of solid project. I'm just going to show you how to use that framework so that you can build your next project using it. And just because the name has Next in it, it doesn't mean that you can only use it with NextJS. You can use it with any React framework like Remix, Astro, or even with just Feet. So today I will just try to cover how to install and set up NextUI in NextJS. However, again, you can use any other framework, how to use some key components, explain some key concepts, how to use dark theme, how to switch between dark theme and light theme, how to add your own theme or customize the existing themes, how to add custom styles, and so on. I'll try to make this video simple and practical. So before you get started, please consider like and subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, the installation part. So if you go to installation page, you will see a lot of content. So there are two ways you can install using automatic installation or manual installation. So in automatic installation, you're going to use their CLI tool. It will create a new template project that will have all the necessary setup. But I'm going to go with the manual installation. And in manual installation, you can do a global installation or individual installation. So global installation simply just installing two packages, NextUI org, React, and Framer Motion. This NextUI org React package will contain all the components, all the utilities, everything in a single package. And Framer Motion is the animation library. After that, you need to add some line to your Tailwind config. Then you have to add your provider, wrap your entire app with that provider, and that's it. Individual installation is a little bit different. Like I mentioned, all the components and everything is packed in a single package, but those components are also available as individual packages. So in individual installation, you need to install these three packages: NextUI theme, NextJS system, and Framer Motion. And then you need to install the component that you want to use. For example, you want to install only the button component. You install only the button component like this. Then you have to go to your Tailwind config file. You have to add the line for your button component. And rest of the setup is same as global installation. And you have to do this every single time you install a new component. So I think it's a little bit of overwork for most of the project. However, they clearly mention that the JavaScript bundle size will not change because NextUI supports tree shaking. So even if you use global installation and don't use all the components, the unused code from the package will be removed during the build time. However, in the individual installation, you get some benefit if you want to reduce the size of your CSS bundle. So it's up to you if you want to install it individually or globally. For simplicity, I'm going to go with global installation. So first I'm going to create a brand new NextJS project and then run npx create next app, next UI YT. This is the project name. I know on TypeScript, ESLint yes, Tailwind CSS obviously, source directory yes, app router yes, import alias no, and let's wait for it to be done. Alright, so our project is created. Now let's install the packages. Just copy this command and run it. Okay, so the packages are now installed. Let's open this on our text editor. Just go to the Tailwind config file and let's just import the next UI and then add this lines. Now we need to wrap our entire app with the next UI provider. For that, you need to create a separate file. So let's create a new provider component. Copy this. And let's get the children. And render the children here. Now let's go to the layout file. And let's add next UI provider. Sorry, not next UI provider, just the provider component. Nice. Now let's run the server. Let's go to the paste.js file. I will remove everything from here. Let's add a button, import button from and next UI / React. And let's add a button. Click link. And let's go to localhost 3000. And now we have this button is styled with Tailwind. If I open up the dev tool, inspect this, you see all the Tailwind classes. It is a black background because of the global styles applied by the NextJS project. So let's remove them. Now we don't have the unnecessary styles. I will close these files. So our setup is working fine. Now let's see some components. We'll start with the button component. So let's go to button. And by the way, NextUI documentation has this AI chat feature where you will be able to ask questions. Basically, it's similar to ChatGPT but powered by Kappa AI. It can be really useful when you don't find something. So this is the button component page. If you want to install it individually, just use the CLI or any kind of package manager. The button component has two components, the button component itself and the group component. So we've seen the basic usage. You can disable the button using the isDisabled prop. Then you have some sizes. So let's add a sizes prop. Let's add LG. So not sizes, it should be size. Now we have a bigger button. You have SM, MD, LG. MD, I guess, is the default one. Then you have radius prop. You have SM, MD, LG, full or none. Now we have a bigger radius. We can also remove it. Then you have colors. Now NextUI themes comes with some predefined colors. You have primary colors, secondary colors, success, warning, danger. So you can add a color prop like primary then you have secondary, then warning. Then you have some variants like solid, faded, bordered, light, so on. Let's add a variant. Let's add ghost. Then you have like shadow, or even just bordered. You can also add a loading state using the isLoading prop. You can even customize the spinner using the spinner prop. It takes React node as a value. React node is the return object when you call the component. So there is a difference between a React component and a React node. So paste the code. And now we have a little bit different loader. I will remove it. You can add icons or any kind of content using the start content and end content prop. So let's add start content. It takes React node. I don't have any icon packages still, so I'm gonna add an emoji here. I guess the fragment won't work. Right, so now it's working. You can even use end content. If you want to use a button with only icon, you can also use that. So I will add another button, and I will use the is icon only prop. And you add the icon as a children. Now you have a button with only an icon. It is using Tailwind CSS. You can add custom styles using your Tailwind classes. So let's add class names. Let's add a background color, red 200. Now we have a different background. Another thing is that you can have a custom implementation of a component, in this case a button, using a hook. Now this can be a little bit advanced. So you create a new button component using the forward ref function. You pass the ref to the use button hook and pass all the other props there. And the hook returns you all the stuff like spinner, start content, end content, actual content, children, DOM ref, and so on. And then you can customize and create your own button using the button tag. Now, if you want to see all the possible props that you can pass for a component, you just need to go to the API section and you'll see the button props. Here you'll see all the props that you can pass, their types, description, and their default values. Everything is mentioned here. You have the events that you can pass, then button group props. You also get access to the data attributes and some information about accessibility feature. Now we see the link component. I'll do the button that's over here. Let's add a link. We're gonna use the link component from NextUI. And now we have a link component. If I click on it, it will show you the 404 page because the about page doesn't exist. So let's create an about page. Now let's click. And it takes you to the about page, but notice that we had a page refresh. The reason is that we are using the normal link component. We're not using the NextJS link component. But you can combine the NextUI link component with the NextJS link component using the as prop. So using the as prop, you can basically change the component that is rendered behind the scene. So let's import the next link component. And let's pass the as prop and pass next link. Now let's click on the link. And it takes you to the about page without having any kind of page refresh. Now we are actually using the link component from NextJS with all the features and styles from NextUI. Now I can use all the prop from NextUI. For example, the size prop. Let's add LG. Then I can add color, primary. Actually, it's primary. Let's use secondary. Now we have secondary color. If your link is an external link, you can pass an isExternal prop. It will make sure that the link will be opened in a new tab. Now if I click on the link, it opens up in a new tab. You can even use the anchor icon using the show anchor icon prop. And to check all the props, just go to the link page and go to the API. And here you'll see all the props that you can pass. And by the way, using the as prop is actually called creating a polymorphic component. Here you have another example. Let's say that you want to have a link, but you want to render it as a button. So you just use the button component, add all the, let's say, props for the link, and then pass the as prop and pass the link as a value. Another good use case of this polymorphic component is using the image component. So let's go to image. And here you have with NextJS image. Here you see it is using the image component from the NextUI and pass the next image component in the as prop. So now you have all the features from both worlds. I think I have talked enough about the components. There are tons of other components. If you know how to find the information, you'll be able to use it very easily. NextUI is really, really easy to use. So I think it's a good time to talk about themes. So what is a theme? A theme is basically a set of predefined colors, layout attributes like font size, font weight, box shape, etc. that you can apply to your application for consistent styling. A theme is applied using the NextUI plugin that we have added earlier. And NextUI actually comes with two themes, dark theme and light theme. And you can easily switch to a light theme and dark theme. So let's see how to use a dark theme in our application. So let's go to the provider component. Let's add a main component, the main tag. And let's add class name. Use the theme name, which is dark. And then add two more class, text foreground and VG background. And now we have our dark theme. Let me just make the main 100% view width. And if I pass the light class name, and now we have a light theme. And these two class name, make sure that your text and background are contrast to each other. Now let's see how we can switch between light theme and dark theme using a switch component. Now there isn't any hook or function to do this out of the box from NextUI. You need to use an external package. You need to use an external package called Next Themes. So npm next themes. Alright, the package is installed. Now let's create another component. Switch mode.jsx. Let's use the switch component. This should be a client component. Let's go to the layout file. And let's add the switch component, the switch mode. And now we need to use the use theme hook. Actually, I will just copy the code. Just go to the dark mode page and go to the add the theme switcher section. And here you'll see the code. I'm going to copy all of this. This theme is actually going to be the theme name, light or dark. So now let's control the value of the switch component using the isSelected prop. So the logic should be if theme is equals to dark. And now let's add an onChange function. It should be on value change. And we need to call the setTheme function if the theme is already dark. we will set it to light, otherwise dark. So it should work. It's not changing. Let's console log the theme. Theme is undefined. I guess I have done everything correctly. Oh, I missed one step. I need to add the next theme provider to the provider component. So let's just grab this, go to the provider, and add it inside the next UI provider. And you don't need this main tag with this class names. And also let's import next themes provider. This needs to be a client component. We have an error. Okay, so there isn't any export called next themes provider. It should be theme provider. Let's rename that component as next themes provider. Now it should work. Okay, so now it's working. And now we should be able to toggle. Yes, we are able to toggle the theme. The default theme is dark. Let's switch to light and refresh. You see, it remembered the last theme we had selected. If you go to application and then cookies, so not cookies in the local storage, you see we have this theme key which is set to light. If I change it, now it has turned to dark. That's how it remembers. So now let's see the theme structure and how to customize it. So to customize the theme, you need to pass an object to this next UI function call, which is a plugin of Tailwind CSS. Let's scroll down. So here are the default plugin options. You can pass prefix, which is going to be a prefix for the theme variable. Then add common colors, which is by default false. And I will go over this in a minute. You can specify the default theme, which is light. Then you have a layout object. Then you have a theme object. You can even nest themes if you want. You can even add styles based on the theme. This is the API reference. So let's see the layout. What is this layout thing? So in the layout object, you basically specify some of the configuration, like what is going to be the line height, border radius, spacing units, font sizes, and so on. Notice that you have two layouts. You can pass the layout inside the object. Then you can also pass layout for individual theme. So this is the common layout options. And whatever you're going to pass on the themes are going to be applied only to that theme. These ones are going to be overridden by the common ones. You see, this is the width, font sizes, tiny, small, medium, line height, radiuses, then theme-specific layout, hover opacity, box shadows. So let's customize the layout a bit. So let's go to the Tailwind content. Now let's go to the next UI and layout. Let's change the font size. Now there are only 4 possible font sizes. You have tiny, large, small, and medium. You cannot add your own custom font size. For that, you need to add that to your Tailwind config directly, not through our plugin. So let's change the large font size and make it like 5 rem. Let's go to the page and let's add a heading. Let's add a class name. Text large. That's too much. Let's reduce it a bit. And now we have our custom font size large. And if you see the variable, the CSS variable, it prefixed with NextJS, which is the default one. And the value is actually 2 rem. If I try to add my custom font size, let's say custom 1.5 rem. and change it to custom. You see, I don't get any auto completion. And if I inspect this, we have the class text custom, but there isn't any stand for it. You see, there isn't any font size applied. The font size is actually inherent. So you need to use the predefined font sizes from NextUI, or you have to add it to your Tailwind, not through the NextUI plugin. So themes, then let's change the theme for the both light mode and dark mode. Let's set dark first. Then layout, let's say large is going to be 1 rem. Now copy this. Let's say light and 1.8 rem. And now if I inspect the text, still using 2 rem. Oh, sorry, I did add font size. So font size. Now it should work. Now it is 1 rem. Let's see the light mode. Now the text is bigger and the font size is 1.8 rem. And the same thing applies to all these properties. And this is the API reference. Check them for more information. Now let's see the colors. There are 2 colors in NextUI. One is common color and another one is semantic colors. Common colors are like Tailwind colors. Common colors are like Tailwind CSS colors. It remains consistent regardless of the theme, like red, green, blue, yellow. If I open this on new tab, I can show you. So these are actually the common colors. NextUI also provides a similar color palette, but not exactly the same. But those common colors are disabled by default. So I can show it to you. Let's go to the page and let's change the text color. Let's say text green 700. And the color is this. And the hex value is 15803D. In Tailwind, green 700, where is that? Here, green 700 is exactly 15803D. But if I go to the Tailwind config file and add another property, add common colors to true, then you see the color will be changed. Now if I inspect, now the color is 0E793C. It's now using the color from NextUI. You can check the common colors in JavaScript. Let's go to the page and console log, common colors. It's a server component, so the console log is in the terminal. So let's search for the green. So here is the green. And the green 700 is 0E793C. So it's up to you if you want to use the Tailwind CSS color or NextUI common colors. I'm going to disable it. Then you have something called semantic colors. Semantic colors adapt with the theme, delivering meaning and reinforcing your brand identity. So I've shown you there are some colors like primary, secondary. These are actually semantic colors. And these colors actually vary with your theme. For example, the background and the foreground might change based on the theme. You can generate your own semantic color using these links. So let's open one of these. Here you'll see a color palette. You can refresh the color or you can pick your own color. Let's use an orange one. Let's choose this. Now let's go to Tailwind config. In the theme, add colors. Let's add primary. This is going to be an object. You can add different shade like 100, 250, or you can also add background, or you can add foreground. Let's paste the color. Let's change the color, text color, text primary. It didn't change. Oh, sorry, you need to use foreground. Okay, so now it's using the orange color. Let's add another shade. Let's say 500. Now let's add the foreground, text primary 500. Now using the darker version of the orange color that we have provided. So this is how you can change the semantic colors. And if you scroll down, you'll see all the semantic colors that are default in NextUI. Now let's see how we can create our own theme. Yes, you can create your own theme. I'm not going to create a new color palette. I'm just going to use the default color palette from this documentation. Now I will just copy this. I will just copy this theme and paste it after the light theme. Here is a extended property which will just inherit the values from theme. So in this case, we will inherit the values from the draft theme. Otherwise, the structure is exactly the same. Now let's go to the provider. And here you need to pass the list of themes. By default, it only works with light and dark theme. So just pass themes prop and pass it as an array. And now let's go to switch mode. I'll replace dark with purple dark. So in new view, you can do something like %s. It means you want to find and replace. So I want to replace dark with purple dark. And for every single instance, now it should work. So let's refresh. Let's toggle it. Now we are using the purple dark theme. Now we are again back at the light theme. Okay, so that's how you can create your own theme. Let's see how we can override styles. You can override the styles by passing class name, but you can also pass a class names prop. This is for the slots in a component. So what is a slot anyway in a component? So a slot is simply a part of a component that can be styled separately. Let's check the circular progress component. If I inspect one of these, you see that there are a lot of elements inside this circular progress component. It is not just one simple tag. It is a combination of multiple tags. So these individual tags are called slots, and these are customizable, but not all components have slot. For example, the button component doesn't have any kind of slot. You can check the slot names in the component page. They have a slot section and they have all the names for the slot. To style the slots, you just need to pass class names prop. And the property name are going to be the slot name, and the value can be any CSS class or Tailwind CSS. So I can just copy this example and paste it on page.js file. Let's also import. So we have this circular progress. If I remove the class names, This is the default component, it does, and this is the customized version of it. You can also use CSS modules. Like I mentioned, you can use any class names. Plus, you can also use CSS in JS, like the style components. Then you have custom variants. I've shown you components can have variants like faded, shadowed, bordered, and so on. You can create your own variants. For example, this is extending the button variants. I can copy this and create a new button. My button JS. So this is taking the extended variants function. You pass the component, and then you pass these values. You specify variants. Then you also specify the default variants. Then you have something like compound variants. And let's use that on our page.js file. I will remove the circular progress component. And let's use the my button component. I guess this needs to be a server component, the my button component. I have to add some text. Custom variant. You can also pass other button props like the size. Let's say SL or is loading. Changing the variants can be really complicated. As you can see, you can do a lot of customization. That is really for advanced use cases. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you have learned something new from it. If the video has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my other crash courses. The links are going to be on the description. If you have any question, please put them in the comments. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter #TharonJohn, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.